Hey guys, why starting a bookkeeping business from home is both simpler than what you'd expect, but then harder than what you'd imagine. Now, I'm going to kind of make the difference and differentiation between simple and hard, right? Because simple does not mean easy, and hard does not mean that it's complex. Okay, so they're two totally different things. And we'll talk about like what that means. So I started my firm back in 2015. It took about 14 months to get to the six-figure level. And I kind of make these videos to break down exactly what's worked for me and some things you can do to kind of avoid some of the mistakes that I made along the way. Now, if you want deeper training in how to really have a proven process to really reach your goals faster, I recommend that you go and check out our mentorship program. You can do that by clicking the link inside the description below. Book a call with myself to see if we can help you inside of our program. And then just taking that next level a lot faster. So let's kind of dive into this thing. So when I say simple, the steps it takes to be successful, there's not a lot of steps. When I say hard, even though there's not a lot of steps, you have to get each step correct in order to make sure your business is humming properly. So, for example, in a lot of businesses, there are 3 to 4 different steps that you have to accomplish in order to be successful. So let's go with a simple 3-step, okay? So that's, what are you selling your offer? How do you sell it is like your sales, and then marketing is how do you get clients on the phone, okay? A 4th one could be like, how do you price your services, but we'll just include that with like step number 1. Let's keep it simple. Now, when you have an accounting business, all you have is selling it and marketing it, right? In order to like have cash flow, right? Of course, it will be like you have to do the work itself too, but we're just gonna keep this simple. So there's 2. So you have 1 less step to do than most other businesses. That's why a lot of people like professional services, like being a lawyer, like being a financial advisor, an insurance agent, because there's so many people that the entire market has been educated about like what you do. So you don't have to like spend time figuring out how to really structure what you have. People know you're doing accounting, people know you're doing bookkeeping. They might not know exactly what that entails, but that's why you have to be good at like sales and like education. We'll talk more about sales in a minute, but you're only doing 2 steps. Now in those 2 steps, it's like, well, how do you price out your services? How do you communicate the value? How do you know what to value your services at? How do you do your consultation call? How do you follow up people after consultation call? And then you switch into marketing. So where do I get my leads? How do I know who's a good lead? If I know it's a good lead, how do I say the right things to make sure like they want to work with me? A lot of different factors. Now we aim to make this simple on our channel and all of the stuff we do. Inside of our program, we teach you how to do it step by step. So it's just a lot faster. Some people ask like, Bryce, you have like 890 videos on your YouTube channel. Why would I want to pay for your mentorship program when I can just watch 890 YouTube videos? If you have time to watch 890 YouTube videos in the span of a month, I don't know what to tell you, that you're really good. I personally would not have. I didn't when I got started. So oftentimes what you're going to start noticing is that like the more that you're in business, how we kind of see the world and how we respond to the world is how people kind of respond to us. So I'll give you a good example. So oftentimes, if you don't like paying for stuff, you're gonna have a hard time getting people to pay you for stuff. So I'll give you a good example. So my uncle, I ran into my uncle, I think it was like it was before COVID, at this like music store. Now my uncle is known for being incredibly, incredibly cheap. He's a CPA, incredibly cheap. And we ran in the store. He's like, hey, do you have credits for this store? Credits? What do you mean? I know I had credits. I was playing dumb. He's like, yeah, I know that you buy stuff from this, it was, what was it called? It's a Goodwill store. I used to buy a lot of stuff to like resell when I was doing like more e-commerce stuff. So I have like a lot of points saved up at those different stores. So sometimes I'll go in there if I want something, just check it out. Depends. I haven't been there in a little while, but suffice to say, I met him there. He knew I had points. So I was like, you're buying a thing for like $10. Why do you need my points? He goes, if I don't have to pay for it, why would I pay for it? And I helped him out the points, but then a couple of weeks later we were talking to him, like, cause he used to want to do like income taxes. So he said, yeah, people always come to me for like income taxes, but they never want to pay. It's like, well, what do you expect? You don't like paying, so of course people you talk to and attract and are around you aren't gonna want to pay. And like that's he hates income tax because no one wanted to pay him, even if it's like business or personal. So it's both the personal ones. Yeah, I can see people not want to pay that, but for the business one, like he would routinely say people like $50,000 on their taxes, or maybe their old accountant messed up on their taxes, and then he helped them get correct everything, and they wouldn't want to pay him. And it's just like, what do you expect, man? You're cheap. You're dealing with cheap people. So it's like, if you want to start transitioning, if you want to start getting better quality people attracted to you, you have to become that thing that you want to attract, right? Because I mean, it's really hard to try and sell to something that you're not. So if you're doing everything for free and for cheap and do it in DIY, it's no wonder why people that come to you want to do DIY. And since you operate with a DIY kind of nature, you're not gonna have a lot of built-in arguments to kind of convince someone not to do DIY, because it's gonna make sense. Oh, that makes sense why you want DIY. I do DIY. Versus if you're not a DIY person, at least you know, okay, well, I would DIY, but there's this reason, this reason, this reason, this reason, this reason, and then they go, oh, yeah, that makes sense, and now they buy into why I should be working with you. But if you haven't built up that muscle of not DIYing things, of course you're gonna have people that come to you and you can't overcome it. Like, just what it is, Side tangent. So that is number one. So next thing is targeting better clients. So in terms of targeting better clients, a lot of people when they get started, they're like, I'm small, so I want to help out small people. And it often comes from like a really great place, because like most people, like when they start the business, they're trying to help people out, right? In some cases they're doing it for the money, which I kind of like, doing it for the money. I needed money when I first got started. That was the main reason why I did, because I had to leave my job and I wanted to support myself. So I was in it more for the money than just to help people out. But it go hand in hand, right? The more you help people out, the more money you make, especially if you can like tie the value of what you're providing for the person to the payment that you're gonna get. And we can talk about that in like different videos. I'm not gonna really go into like super deep into how to price out your services right now, but we'll do that in a different video. Yeah, and it's just easier when you're working with bigger clients, because you have to work with less clients, number one. So that means that you can take better care of all of them, and you can you can make the business more passive. You don't have a lot of clients because there's less people asking you questions. Second thing is they generally are easier to work with with payments, right? Because they don't miss payments as frequently as like small companies do. Their budgets are a little bit different as well. They generally have a lot of savings. They have a lot of cash. If they don't have cash, they still have like business credit too they can pay you with, so it's just easier. So a good example of this is actually one of my students named Melissa Hearn. When she first came to me, she had 35 clients. Okay. Now, when I was talking, I was like, 35 clients, man. It was like, man, you must be at like, 15 grand a month. And she goes, no, I'm doing $3,500 a month. And I was like, what is going on? She had been in business since 2008. Right? And she just kept getting people who were like really solopreneurs. They were only making like $50,000, $80,000 a year. And it's just like, what are we doing here? She even had a full-time job with 35 clients. I was like, are you kidding me? So we basically partnered together. I basically told her how to price the services and really how to like get people that weren't so price sensitive. Because I mean, like even when she would try and raise their price of the original guys from like 100, she had some clients who were like $50 a quarter they were paying her $50 for a quarter's worth of work, and then on average about like $100 to $150 per month. So when she tried to raise them from 150 to like 200 or even 250, they used to cry poverty, and it would just be like, whoa, it was terrible. So we just started targeting better quality clients that had more revenue, respected the service, and they needed it. So by the time she got 5 more clients, it only took her, I think it took her about 2 months to get like 5 more clients. And then we talk about, okay, how much money are you making now? She was at $9,500 per month. After about, I think it was like 4 months, she was able to like leave her job. So you go from 2008 to 20, I think it was like 23, we started working together. In that time, she had only made it to $3,500 a month. Then you go from 4 months, you add, what is that, $6,000 to monthly recurring revenue, and now you can leave your job. That's crazy. But it all comes from just making that slight shift. And that's why I gotta go back to it. It's harder than you expect to kind of get success in this business because of the way we think and the way that we go after clients. We're going after these small guys who need the help. Yeah, they need the help, but they don't. It's harder to really make the money you need in order to like really be able to do this business like full time, like really attack this kind of life. So next thing is smaller versus big clients. I also like going after bigger clients because smaller clients, their budget's smaller and they tend to hold on to money more. Like you don't want it where like you're working with like a company and they have 0 employees or 0 contractors. It's worse they have 0 contractors, but they have like 0 employees. You don't want to be someone's first because number one, they're not really used to expending money to move the business forward. And they oftentimes will you have to do a lot more consultation calls, you have to explain a lot more. It's like, hey, this is my last $2,000. If I give this to you, will you work for me for 50 hours a week? Will you do everything I need you to do? Will you become like a second owner? Like that's in a lot of cases what they're looking for. You know? That's what they need at that moment in time. So instead you go after people that don't necessarily need help growing the business. You need people that need help driving and steering the business, right? So for example, one of our students, he had a client, well, his name is Jordan, so he had a client and the client was paying him like $150 a month. It took him like 4 months to get the guy to sign up with them when he first started. We recently got a client and the person paid him $7,000 in 15 minutes. The difference, the person that paid him $7,000 in 15 minutes, they were doing $3 million a year in revenue. The other person that was paying him $150 and took like 2 months to get him to close, that guy does about, let's say he has he's like at like 100 to like a 200,000 per year. Can't remember exactly what he was at, but it's below $500,000, right? Now, for the 7K, some people are like, whoa, you got paid $7,000. Man, that must have been like either a cleanup or a lot. That was a setup. That was to set up their QuickBooks correctly. It didn't take much time. But that's the point. It's like they don't really care about money the same way when they're bigger they do when they're smaller, right? And that's oftentimes like why some people, like when they're starting, like maybe they're like a little bit nervous that you can't charge a lot of money because, you know, you kind of see that your business is starting, so why would other people who have a business like start, like be able to have money? It's not like that. They have money. And plus you can see it. If you get a look at their books before you give them a price quote, you can see how much cash they have. So you'll be able to kind of know that. Next thing is understanding sales and communication of value. So a lot of people, they tie how much money they're charging to their worth, right? And like this, it makes sense. Like in corporate America, like you're trained, it's like, you know, you're getting paid what you're worth. But what I'm saying is you don't want to tie it to like your self-esteem or your self-value. So for example, I had one student, her name is Joanne, and for her, you know, her biggest challenge was understanding that like you can charge a lot more money. Like it's okay, number one, people have money. Number two, if someone says no to your higher price, they're not saying no that you're a bad person and you're not like worth the money. In some cases, it could just be that they don't understand the value, right? So we have to disconnect someone saying no or someone not moving forward with you from your self-esteem and your feeling of either being enough or being able to succeed inside the business, okay? Because all sales is really a communication of value. So understanding like how to learn how to communicate what you're going to do for the other person to really explain why they should be paying you this amount of money and why paying you this amount of money is going to allow them to make more money in the future. Now, a lot of bookkeepers have trouble with this, okay? This is why like oftentimes like when you think about like tax strategy or like tax planning, that's when let's say someone is helping you, you would owe $100,000 in taxes, but if you plan ahead of time throughout the year, you understand like different write-offs and deductions and different things you can do to make that $100,000 actually turn into more like $10,000 or $20,000, right? So that's a very, very distinct difference to go from $100,000 you would have owed to only $10,000 you would have owed. That's $90,000. Of course, that's worth, you know, $5,000 to $12,000 to pay someone that because it's much more of a return. $90,000 for $9,000 is something that most significant business owners would do. Now, if you're dealing with someone small, right? A lot of people who are unsuccessful in business, they don't understand really thinking about investing, right? So you put in $1, you get back 5. You put in $1, you get back 10. If you can put in $1 and be sure you're gonna get 5 every single time, there's no reason why a sophisticated business owner doesn't do that. The only people that won't do that are people that are gonna be unsuccessful in business, and like those business owners are gonna be out of business anyway. So you know it's okay. It's not a big deal, right? So you'd be focused on the ones that are going to actually work with you at those exact price points. So once we kind of had her shift that, once we just said, we gave her like pricing calculus so she knew exactly what to charge, and I just told her, I don't care how you feel about the number, say the number and then pause and just sit there and have the conversation with them. It's not about you. It's not about if they like you, if they don't like you. It's, did we communicate the value effectively? We give them like sales consultation scripts, like what to say on the call. So are we communicating why this person needs to work with us? Are we setting proper expectations? Excuse me. Are we saying the price? Are we saying the price? And if we are, then we're good. We'll let the chips fall where they may. Little did she know it would work. She got to $10,000 in, let's say she got to $10,000 in her first month of working together. She started about like $800 a month. So she added about $9,200 in her first like 30 days. Yeah. So it was cool, but it's just like sometimes it's like it's simple. It's simple. You have the lead, you have the people in the call. It's hard because there's all these different things that are stopping it. Like it could be a mindset, it could be you don't know how to communicate, you don't have a good script, you miss steps, you forget to ask about if they need a cleanup, you forget to ask if they need a setup, you forget to ask like how many like there's a million different things, or you price it based on like the 1% rule, and then they call you out and like, well, why is this price? You're like, well, I looked at your revenue and I charged like 1% of your revenue. It's like, what? So are you saying that if I had made $10 million, I would have had to pay X, Y, Z versus I'm only making this and I made this? Wait, but I don't have that much work. You know, so it's tough when you're trying to start this stuff on your own. Yeah, I don't know. There's so many different like pitfalls that kind of like come, and it's some people would ask like, well, if it's this like challenging to start a business, like why would anyone do it? It's because it's so worth it. I mean, you're gonna have hard things in life anyway, right? It's either gonna be like your boss, it's gonna be inflation, it's gonna eat out your stuff. You might lose your job. Like at least with a business, you have something that's consistent. You have something that you know is going to cash flow. You have a set of skill sets where if something was to happen in the economy or like, you know, you lost your clients, you could at least get it back in a very quick kind of fashion. You're diversified across a number of clients, right? Right now, if you're at a job, you only have one stream of income. Maybe you have like some rental properties on the side. Maybe you have like, I don't know, some sort of like investment or something that's kind of feeding you a drip. But for the very least, you're probably like 1 to 3 different like sources of income within it. When you have a business, the number of clients you have is a stream of income. So I could lose, for example, let's say that if you have 10 clients, if you lose 2 clients, right, you got fired from one of your clients or one of them just went out of business, you still have 8 different chances to keep money coming into your household, right? So then you just replace those 2 clients and now you're back to normal. Versus if you have a job, you lose your job, 100% of your income is now gone. Right, and a lot of people don't understand. It's like they kind of wait till they lose their job to kind of like, you know, do a program or like do something. It's like when things are going well, start. When things are going well, use that time, use that space to get in a better position. Don't wait until things go bad and then try and dig yourself out of a hole, because it just takes too long to dig yourself out of a hole, and you have like more of that like kind of desperation kind of feels. It's very hard to like get people who want to work with you if you feel desperate, because they feel that desperation. They kind of attach that desperation to your skill set because they don't know why you're feeling so desperate. They just don't know, like, well, maybe this person's just not that good. So if you do it while you have a job, if you do it while you have more money in the bank, while you still have the cash flow, now you're kind of in a place of you're at peace when you're in your calls. You don't really care if the person goes, just you're taking it or leaving it, and then people start working with you. And then it's just so much simpler. So it's like if you're doing okay in life, use that time to get better. Okay, that's. I know I'm stressed. I know I'm stressing that point. I'm like, you know, I'm not trying to preach at you. I'm just saying, like, if I had known a lot of this stuff, and I talk to people every single day, where it's like, I talked to a lady the other day. She is 63 years old, and she was like, man, I wish I had joined your program, 20 years ago, right? Because that's the time when she could have been, like, think about it like this. When she grows her business to $10,000 a month, right, and now she's bringing in probably about $9,000 a month net profit, right? If this person was making only $50,000 in their job, she is making $4,000 per month more, before taxes, of course, $4,000 per month more. If she had been doing the extra $4,000 per month savings for 20 more years, how much more and how much better off would she have been? Especially if you just like have a really simple investment strategy where like maybe you work with a financial advisor and they're just adding like 8 to maybe 10% to that money. It's compounding year after year after year, right? So it's like, don't wait. Just attack this stuff now. Okay? While life is good, attack. Now, if you want some help, like maybe you watch this video and it's like, maybe you've been trying to grow your business, but just not quite growing the way that you want. But you feel that if you had someone holding you by the hand and telling you what to do step by step, giving you the templates, giving you the calculators, giving you the processes to make sure your business ran smoothly and was as profitable as possible in the shortest time period possible, go ahead and click the link inside the description, book a call with myself, and we'll see if we can help you inside of our training program, okay? I'm looking forward to seeing if I can help you. My goal with these videos, like I'm doing these free videos, I'm not getting paid for the videos, because I don't have like AdSense on this YouTube channel, so it's like there's really not that much benefit for me to make these YouTube videos. But I wanted to help people. I wanted to give people a way to kind of like, move forward in their life. And then for the people that are ready to take that step and want to move and want to really grow, I have the mentorship program that just gives you more of an involvement on your success, and I give you more of that transformation, more of that implementation of the stuff we talk about in the videos. Because it's great to watch these videos, but it's challenging. There's a lot of things that you maybe don't